and welcome to the Not Only Carrots Cooking Show. Today I wanted to answer a really important question. What do you do when you go out as a vegan and there's nothing to order on the menu? Alright, number one, if possible, call ahead in advance. So say your family decides we're going to go to the local steakhouse for dinner on Saturday night. You're coming along and you think, okay, it doesn't really sound like a very vegan-friendly restaurant, but never assume. Give them a call in advance and make sure you're really polite on the phone. Explain the situation. Hi, I'm a vegan, but my family are all coming on the weekend. I'm looking forward to being there too. Is there any way that we can work out a plant-based meal for me? And perhaps give them some suggestions if they're really not too sure what to do. Pasta is a really easy one, and rice, of course, is easy as well. There are some easy ways too that you can veganize meals. So one of those ways is to swap out the protein in an already standard meal on their menu. So for example, if you're somewhere and they have a curry, perhaps a beef curry, you can ask them if they could swap it out for mushrooms or for some lentils. And sometimes they'll even have things like kidney beans or tofu, depending on the type of restaurant that you have there. If you give them advance notice, they may even provide that for you, even if they don't normally serve it on the menu. Another thing you can do, perhaps if you turn up to the restaurant and don't know about it in advance, is check down at the bottom of the menu. I was at a restaurant the other day and at the bottom it said, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, please ask, we have options for you. And that was really exciting. They even had a vegan schnitzel option at Hog's Breath Cafe the other day, which was really great because normally we just have to have a plain salad and sometimes there are some mushrooms and that's about it. But do expect that sometimes you are going to have some limited options. Things that are handy though are nuts, so cashews and almonds and peanuts. They'll give you some protein, help you to feel a bit fuller. Mushrooms, as I mentioned earlier, and also avocados are great as well. If you're ordering perhaps a salad, avocados and a handful of cashews and even some cooked mushrooms on there will bulk it up a little bit. Remember too, you don't necessarily have to eat a full meal at the restaurant. You are going to be going home later on and there's no issues whatsoever whipping up a smoothie or a sandwich once you get home as well. Make sure too you are very polite and very appreciative of any effort they make whatsoever. Sometimes vegans and vegetarians can get a really bad name for being very bossy and expecting everyone to change everything just for them. If you've gone to a steakhouse, you've gone to a steakhouse. You haven't gone to a vegetarian tofu palace. So expect that what you're asking for is a little out of the ordinary. And if you're very polite, they're far more likely to go out of their way for you. If you're lucky enough, you may even be able to ask for brown rice and wholemeal bread instead of the standard white. And occasionally they do have it. Another thing I find useful is to reiterate what I do and don't eat, particularly at restaurants where English is a second language. If I go and order at a Thai restaurant or a Chinese restaurant, I make sure to say, I eat a plant-based diet, I don't eat meat, no prawns, no eggs, no fish, and I explain in a very exact way. And once I've ordered my meal, I ask them to tell it back to me to make sure they've understood, especially things like prawns and eggs, because sometimes people don't put prawns on the same level as meat. We actually went to a party once and we said, oh, we're vegetarians, we don't eat meat. And they said, that's okay, we've got prawns. So not everyone sees seafood as meat, so you will have to be very particular when you're ordering. The other thing to watch out for are things like oyster sauce, shrimp paste, and beef broth, depending on what the meal is. A lot of menu items now will be very particular about what is and isn't in the actual meal because there are so many allergies now in the world. So usually these things will be listed and then you can avoid those meals. Something else to consider when you're at a restaurant is asking for olive oil or avocado in the place of butter on any sandwiches or toast that you may have ordered. Sometimes they won't have it and you can just say, that's fine, can you just bring out my bread plain please? And they usually will. One time my husband and I went to an Italian restaurant in Sydney, Australia, and we were able to create our own meal. The chef accommodated us and told us that we can just tell him what to put in it and he would do it. And he did. We had this beautiful spaghetti with tomatoes and olives and mushrooms and garlic and onion, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it was so wonderful to eat a meal that actually filled us up, and it was fresh and we were appreciative and they were appreciative, and it was an all-around wonderful experience. We have a similar experience each time we go to Subway. The sandwich artists are happy to change their gloves for us each time, and they've even been happy before when we took along our own vegan cheese to put that on the sub for us. And the burger that they have in Australia is vegan. So it's exciting that because we are able to order a normal Subway burger, not just salad. And a lot of their sauces are also vegan as well. So keep an eye out. There's a lot of accidentally vegan products out there. As I mentioned earlier, make sure you say a very, very big thank you. And if the chef has been happy to prepare something ahead of time, even if it's not amazing, even if it really wasn't that full of flavor, and sometimes unfortunately it won't be, make sure you thank them so much for it, because next time they'll be willing to try again, and then perhaps you can suggest, oh, I really enjoyed that meal, maybe we can throw a bit of extra garlic in there, or perhaps some extra soy sauce for some more flavor. Something else you can do if you're pretty confident, and that's me, I'm very confident when it comes to what I eat, and I don't like to say, okay, I'll have a bit of dairy, I'm just not like that. But what I did this one time was my kids and I used to go and spend a day shopping every couple of weeks because we lived a long way out of town. And there was a fish and chip shop right near one of the shops that we used to go to. And I thought to myself, I know they do these great burgers, but they're always beef or chicken or fish. And I thought, what if I took in a tin of nut meat and asked them to cook it up, fry it up for me, and put it on our burgers, and be happy to pay them for the burgers and see what they'll do. And the lady there was very accommodating, and she just charged me $5 a burger. She fried up this nut meat for me. It was absolutely amazing. I went there quite a number of times and was so appreciative. So after having this wonderful experience with this fish and chip shop, I made a point of publicizing and advertising them on Facebook to show my appreciation. And that's something I really do recommend that you do as well. Same as the other night when we went to Move Free Burgers, I made sure to mention that on Facebook just to really thank these people who go out of their way, because not everyone does. And sometimes if you go out, someone may not be willing to help you out, and you might just end up having some toast and a hot chocolate with soy milk, and that might be it. But that's okay, it's only one night. But anyone who does help you out, make sure you tag them and thank them for it. Just remember that 8% of Australians, 7% of the UK, and 5% of the US are now vegan. So it's going to become easier and easier to order a plant-based meal at restaurants and at fast food chains. There are even vegan food chains now popping up all over the place. We even went to one the other day called Move Free Burgers and Charlie's Raw Squeeze, and that was at Maroochydore, and it was beautiful. Every single thing on the menu was vegan, and I even got to have a vegan soft serve ice cream, and oh, so exciting. And they were so lovely and friendly, and we got cheese and just everything that you think you're missing out on when you're vegan, but you don't have to miss out anymore. It's all there. So make sure you subscribe, guys, to our channel. Click like and share this video with a friend. I hope this helps making your eating out experience that little bit easier as a vegan. And check out our other videos. We are answering some big questions like, where do vegans get their protein, iron and calcium? How do vegans cope with unsupportive family and friends? And also we have loads of cooking shows coming your way too. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you soon with another one.